I don't think I've ever met or heard of a happy and healthy young person who picks up a gun and shoots somebody. A lot of our kids are truly hopeless. A lot of our kids were suffering enormous trauma before COVID-19. And then when COVID-19 hit, rates of homelessness went up, food insecurity went up, abuse went up, and there were no teachers to come and tell in person, hey, I need to get some help. All of that got worse. And we've put the masks away, and folks understandably want to put the pandemic behind us. But we can't forget the impact that that had on an already very difficult situation. And so we have a lot of kids who quite literally have experienced trauma after trauma after trauma, and it's hard for many of us to put ourselves in their mindset, but if you have experienced utter hopelessness, it's not far from there to pick up a gun to solve your issue. And so I would agree with Robert and so many others, this is about so much more than just taking away the guns, though I am a huge supporter of that. It's about creating hope in our kids, that there is a future for them. It's about getting them the mental health that they need. We know in education, the brain science, when you grow up with repeated trauma, your brain physically actually changes, and you're more likely in situations of tension to have a spike in cortisol, which inhibits your decision-making ability. So we should not be surprised when kids are suffering repeated trauma, repeated trauma, repeated trauma. There is an ocean of guns. You put those two things together, coming off a once-in-a-century tragedy, basically, that deeply affected our kids and families, and here we are. What I get frustrated about is we actually have the resources to tackle this. So, like Mr. Sherman, I will be politically incorrect. You know, the state of Virginia, the Commonwealth of Virginia, is sitting on a multi-billion-dollar surplus. And the General Assembly's own research arm, nonpartisan, called JLARC, they released a study this week saying that the Commonwealth of Virginia is underfunding schools by billions of dollars. That's hundreds of counselors in Richmond Public Schools, and dozens of psychologists, and triple the number of after-school programs, and everything else that would make a difference. And yet, those elected to make these decisions have decided it's just not that important. That's got to change.